Hey, how you doing? This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, today we are concluding Exodus 20. So I'm not talking much about the Ten Commandments today because that's been kind of concluded here. The rest of chapter 20 is kind of some concluding remarks, and then we're going to get into chapter 20, which is more laws about different things like how to treat your slaves and personal injuries and all kinds of things like that. A lot of different stuff. But the main thing was the Ten Commandments, and now we will get into some of the more specific ways to treat people and so forth. Today, it's called Don't Dishonor the Worship of God. This concludes this chapter, and Moses says some things like these are things you need to do so you don't dishonor God. All right. And so let's read today from Exodus 20, verses 18 to 26. All right. Exodus 20, 18 to 26. It says this: When the people saw the thunder and lightning and heard the trumpet and saw the mountain in smoke, they trembled with fear. They stayed at a distance and said to Moses, "Speak to us yourself, and we will listen. But do not have God speak to us, or we will die." So the people here were taking God very seriously, and they were scared of God because of what they saw all around him. Okay, and of course they saw the 10 plagues happening and everything else, so they knew God's power. And when they saw that, up on the mountain and everything that was happening there, given the 10 Commandments, they were scared, and they were like, "Don't have God talk to us," because they were really afraid that something would happen. Knowing they're sinners, all right? But they said, "You go ahead and speak to us, for God." Verse 20, Moses said to the people, "Do not be afraid. God has come to test you, so that the fear of God will be with you to keep you from sinning," okay? If you know that someone's watching you right there, probably less chance you're going to sin. Of course, we're going to find ways to do that, but less chance of that happening. Verse 21, the people remained at a distance while Moses approached the thick darkness where God was. All right, and then verse 22, then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites this, you have seen for yourselves that I have spoken to you from heaven. Do not make any gods to be alongside me. Do not make for yourselves any gods of silver or gods of gold." All right, so he's reiterating the second commandment there, which is idols. Don't make any idols. And he's saying, don't put anything beside me. All right. It's you worship God and you worship God alone. Don't worship God and a Baal and a something else. All these other things. It's not a multi-religious system, a multi-God system. It's one God. Okay. So he says, don't put anything beside me. All right. This is a solo act. All right, and then verse 24, make an altar of earth for me and sacrifice on it the burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, your sheep and your goats and your cattle. Wherever I cause my name to be honored, I will come to you and bless you. If you make an altar of stones for me, do not build it with dressed stones, for you would defile it if you used the tool on it. And do not go up to my altar steps, or your private parts may be exposed. Okay? So he's saying, make these altars simple that you worship me with. Don't be making something really elaborate and all that, because then that takes away from the focus of God. Like, wow, look at that altar, But the focus is to be on God. So he's saying, make this altar, if possible, make it from earth, okay? Make it from dirt. And he says, but if you do make it with stone, don't be making it, carving it and making it all, fancy. Because you're defiling when you do that. All right, you're making you're making that kind of an idol. People will look at that and go, "Wow, what an altar! That's awesome," But it shouldn't be like that. It's just a tool to worship God. And then the last thing he says is, when you go up to the altar, don't have these high steps, that you go up and then people can see your private parts. Don't be doing that stuff. Okay. Dressed modestly, and don't take away from the focus of worshiping God. Okay, that should be our focus today here also, is when we're worshiping God, don't let other things take away from that. and you have to get all fancified and all that stuff. Okay, there are things that help us in the worship of God, and that's okay. But don't let those things become the worship. All right. So we might be singing worship songs, and we come into danger when we start worshiping the song rather than the God the song is about. Make sense? Well, thanks for watching. I'm a regular dude walking in the Word, and we've just concluded chapter 20 of Exodus. Join us tomorrow as we jump into chapter 21, where we're going to be dealing with more specific rules that God asked of the Israelite people. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Lord's blessing to you.